everyone, and welcome back to the Bread and Roses Community Kitchen. This is Michael, your host, and I just want to thank you all for all of your feedback and just being able to engage with this community. Forever grateful. And so first what we're going to start off with is some feedback from the last video. We had some questions about temperatures in order to roast vegetables, and the standard is between 400 and 450. And so regularly you want to be able to have a hotter oven when you're roasting your vegetables. Baking is like 350, but for vegetables you really want a hotter oven, and this can vary depending on the toughness or the softness of your vegetable, as well as the sizes in which you have the vegetable like cut. So some different suggestions that we have are for softer vegetables such as green beans. I saw somebody mention asparagus, cauliflower. I'd recommend 10 to 20 minutes. Again, gauging it based on if you put a whole cauliflower, it's going to need a little bit longer versus if you cut it up. So just combining that idea of hardness level to size and gauging it. If you want to do squash and potatoes, which are much tougher vegetables, you want to look at for 30 minutes or longer. In the last video, the little beets were that small, and we roasted them for about 30 minutes. I would recommend again a little bit bigger a beet would have called for maybe 40 minutes. When I normally roast potatoes, if they're in maybe wedges more, I would do that for a 45 minute. And again, it varies also based on your preference. I like my vegetables roasted really strong, have a crispy outside touch. So again, up to preference, but knowing 400 to 450, 450 being the higher and better for more tough vegetables, and 400 being more used for less vegetables, but staying at 425 is just a great standard and period. And then we also had a question about oil. So you don't have to use oil. I would recommend, if you're using oil, using an olive oil. I've also heard people say a soybean oil or an avocado oil because they have higher cooking temperatures, but a standard extra virgin olive oil works as well. And if you don't want to use oil, you can also use line your baking sheet with parchment paper, and that makes it so it doesn't stick. And I would also say using a little bit of water at the bottom of your pan. You can also use chicken broth or vegetable broth. And I welcome you guys to experiment with lemon juice, orange juice, tomato juice, and you just line a thin layer on the bottom of your pan, using a little bit more if you're cooking it for a longer time, just so it can evaporate and have some space. And regardless I would recommend, if you're unsure about your vegetables and even just how hot your oven is, I would recommend always just kind of checking on them, maybe every if you're cooking something for 20 minutes, check it at the halfway mark. If you're cooking something for 30 minutes, I would check at the 20-minute mark and then kind of gauge it from there, but kind of shifting them. And yeah, I just encourage you guys to continue to experiment and give us back your feedback. And I really appreciate this because it's helping me learn how to be able to do these, because everything's new. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone that watched, and hopefully that is sufficient enough. If you have any more questions, please reach out to breadandrosesseville@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to help out. This week we're going to be making veggie spring rolls packed with a bunch of different vegetables, as well as a peanut sauce that is pretty easy to whip up. And we're also going to couple it with a yummy little fruit plate, or I guess a fruit salad, but not really. I would more say a fruit plate, a fruit tray, and another sauce. And I want to offer these two as just great things to kind of supplement your day with. I know I've been spending long days at home, and trying to find ways to snack in between meals has really been helping me with curbing my appetite and keeping me energized throughout the day, because again, these are great for midday snacks. I would recommend looking into just different variations of these, and yeah, have some fun. And so what you're going to need, you don't really need that much. We're not going to be doing any cooking or anything. So all you need is a cutting board, Some measuring cups. I would recommend having like a tablespoon, a 1/4 cup, and some teaspoons. You can do half teaspoons and a teaspoon, depending on like the different recipes. And then a fork for mixing. And you have 2 mixing bowls and and a grater. And then you also can use, I guess depending how you would want to, you can use like a bunch of small bowls in order to hold the vegetables, or you can lay them out on one plate, whatever your preference is. I know that like a lot of people probably don't have like a cajillion little bowls laying around, but if you do, those are really helpful. If not, I would just say put them all on like a giant plate. So yeah, and if that's all, we can get started. So first we're gonna make our sauces. I always feel like making sauces is really nice to do before you make your meal because it allows them to be able to sit and kind of like get those flavors combined. We're making a peanut sauce with soy sauce, lime juice, I guess peanut butter, brown sugar, ginger, and then the recipe calls for like a chili garlic sauce that you can sometimes find at the store. But so instead, I didn't have that. I got garlic salt and some chili powder. And for the fruits sauce, kind of like, I haven't really think of a name, but how about like a yogurt honey lemon sauce? We're gonna have some Greek yogurt, plain, low fat, some honey, and then some lemon. Or actually, this is lime juice. No, this is lemon juice. Yes, lemon juice. And so I have the powder here, but we don't need salt for this one. And so what we're gonna start off with is just making the peanut soup. And so you take one of your bowls and you kind of just I'm gonna use like another little spoon to kind of do this. And so what you're doing is 1/4 peanut butter. Peanut butter is always fun to be trying to get out. And then we're going to add the soy sauce. That's 4 teaspoons. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of freshly squeezed lime juice. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. Just going to scoop that on out. And then we also have garlic and chili powder. And the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of the garlic powder sauce, so I just added like a half teaspoon of each, roughly. And then you want to grate in about a teaspoon of garlic. And so, just to make that. Some people, they prefer to like to remove the skin of the garlic. I personally don't have a preference for that, but if you do, just remove the garlic beforehand, the garlic skin beforehand, and a lot of it will come off with the grating also. And it's also sometimes kind of difficult to grate garlic. And so I would recommend freezing your garlic actually, and it helps it also stay reserved. Garlic comes pretty cheap, but you can buy like a good amount and freeze it and keep it, like breaking it off for like different reasons that you need it. It's just a fun way to be able, or not fun, but like an easy way to keep your garlic. I'm spilling things, I'm sorry. And so then you're just gonna mix it until it's smooth. comes out like a kind of darker brown, that soy sauce and peanut butter combo. Smell all the tastes. Okay. Mix that. Okay. And then also what you can do, you can add water to it as well to kind of, and this is water mixed with a little bit of soy sauce. That's why it's brown, but it's water. And then so you're just gonna add like, add it by tablespoon until your desired consistency. I want it to be a little bit thinner so I can kind of like drip it over my veggie rolls. But again, your consistency. If you prefer it to be nice and thick, I would say keep it like that. If you want it to be thinner, I would say don't add any, like, more than like 3 tablespoons of water though, because you might lose the flavor. Okay. So we're just gonna mix that up until it's smooth. Okay, there you go. I'm just gonna see that final color. Okay, and then next we're gonna do our yogurt sauce. And so, kind of get that yogurt in there. Again, I use like these, I'm just using these to kind of scoop it out. Hand me another fork. It's okay. Fork. And then we're gonna add the lemon juice. And then we're gonna add the honey. And so the proportions that I did was 1/4 cup of yogurt, a tablespoon of honey, and then a teaspoon of lime juice or lemon juice. I'm getting all the juices mixed up. Okay, and then take a fork, that's really pretty, and just mix that together. This one is a very simple sauce. I guess like these two represent to me like different ways you can approach sauces. I always appreciate a sauce that has a bunch of different flavors, like our peanut sauce. And then there's also like these sauces where you can literally put anything into Greek yogurt and make it into a sauce. I know I've had savory Greek yogurt sauces where you just put a little olive oil and then put some seasonings in. Comes out amazing, and you can really just put what you have. You can use, I would recommend as far as sweeteners using honey, just because of the consistency of like sugar would probably, unless you beat it really well, wouldn't really come through. So like just using a little bit of honey, and then looking at like other seasonings you could do, like again I'm going back and forth with lemon juice and lime juice, so doing either of those are fine. And putting a herb in, like I was thinking about putting like lavender in this or something, and just, you know, creating those different flavors that'll go well with like what your meals are. And so here we go, we have 2 sauces, and yeah, and next we'll be cutting our veggies. There's a lot of flexibility with this recipe. We're going by recipe of having carrots, red bell peppers, cucumber, red cabbage, and I'm just gonna add a little apple for like a little contrast taste. And so the way that you see, I have some pre-cut, and if you see here, we have the carrots are cut into what we call matchsticks, or you might have also heard Julienne. I think of Julienne cut kind of like when you're thinly cutting onions, and I guess this is like another method of thinly cutting vegetables. And So we have our carrots that are matchstick and our cucumbers that are matchstick. We're gonna thinly slice our red peppers. We're gonna shred our red cabbage. And then we're just gonna thinly slice our apple. And so if you just come a little bit closer, I can show you just right here what we're gonna do. So when doing the Julienne cut, it's pretty simple as far as like the carrots and the cucumbers go. What you're gonna do is make sure your gloves are pushed back. You're just gonna cut the sides. Make sure you get all of that. It's a little filmy. Until you make it kind of like a block. This is gonna come out like a rectangle. So you're just gonna cut each side, and I try to get as close as I can to the edge of the carrot. Just you're taking off the skin, and then you get kind of like, if you can see, like this cube or rectangular shape. And so then you just so based on how thin you want them, I prefer to have, for this recipe especially, to have very thin carrots so they're easier to bite. And I would say really consider that as you're like cooking, is thinking about the thickness that you want for your own roll and the preferences that you have for the vegetables. For this recipe, I'm going to cut them very thin. So I'm just going to do make sure you always have the knife, front part of the knife down, and then after you cut them, you can stack them. I always like to cut them individually, but it takes a bit more time to do that. And so like a kind of fast way is just stacking them and lining them up, and then just cutting down the stack. There you go, you get like a lot. Cut the back side. Okay. And then if again you can like kind of go through, I'm gonna cut that one a little bit more, but there you go. And something else that I want to talk about are like the colors that we have. So this meal is very colorful, and as you can see, we have some orange carrots, and we also have red bell pepper, which I'm going to thinly slice. And so also make sure to add that you rinse off all of your produce very thoroughly before. Especially with COVID, I've been making sure to give my vegetables a nice thorough rinse. Orange and red, very high foods in, or very high content in vitamin C. It's actually crazy. Red peppers have like so much vitamin C. They're even comparable to like oranges, and in some varieties you'll see that red peppers actually have more vitamin C than oranges. So it's like, look at that. And the same goes for carrots. I've always heard the rule of thumb that anything orange is good for your eyes, and so take that as you will. I just think that when you're having so many different colors, you're able to engage with your body in the sense of having multiple types of nutrients being pumped in. And so next we're going to also matchstick cut this, and I'm going to actually cut it from the top, if you can see, and down, and so I kept some of the, I don't mind cucumber, like the cucumber covering skin, haha, or brain fart. But yes, I don't mind the cucumber skin. I know some people probably prefer without. If you're one of those people, I would just say just cut the edges off, toss them, or add them to like another recipe. But yeah, I kind of like just go through and cut the skins that I cut off. And then when you have the block as well, you just cut it into thin layer sheets, stack them. cover like colors. Cucumber, this dark green, as it's classified, is really high in iron. And so remembering orange and red are really good for like your vitamin C, your dark leafy, it includes also leafy greens. Your dark green vegetables are high in iron. And then you have fun colored vegetables like purple cabbage, which can be used such as like also with blueberries for antioxidants and helping to prevent disease. I love adding purple cabbage to recipes just for like color, but again, understanding that like the more colorful your dish is, the more beneficial that it is to you, just based on the fact that like, yeah, I guess nature just produces its nutrients in color, and it's kind of like a really cool color code that once you get the knack of it and you're seeing like how many of your recipes are more colorful, you'll like start to notice. Because I also want to encourage like the different textures that we have. We have carrots that are a bit more hard. We have this very like tough, tangy cabbage, and I'm just gonna like, what I did was just like kind of cut down similar to like a Julienne cut and then cut down the middle. This was actually, I prefer my cabbage to be very cut up, so I'm gonna cut it up all the way into like little bitty pieces. This is probably more than enough for what we need. So yeah, just top that back into the bowl. I'm just gonna set the rest of these in here. The bowl's full. And then we're gonna add an apple, and I'm just gonna like, let's do that. And I'm just going to cut this apple in half, and it's already been cored. Actually, no, yeah, the seeds have already been cored. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of cut down so I can turn it around. You'll see. I just go down like that. And cut them similarly into matchsticks. And again, as thin as you want, as white as you want. This is really fun way to just experiment what your preferences are for like taste. I would recommend being conscious of like how large your leaf lettuce wraps are, because like if you cut them too big, they might not go. So I would just say thin and vertical as possible. Okay, we're just gonna cut the rest of that. And there you have it. We have our carrots matchstick as well as our cucumbers. We have our red bell peppers that are falling out of their little bowl. We have our purple cabbage. Just put that right there. And then we have our apples. There you go. We have all of our fillings. I keep saying toppings. We have all of our fillings. And next is the assembly. So get ready. And so in order to assemble your veggie rolls, you need to grab your lettuce leaves. And I recommend like grabbing maybe like the largest leaves that have like a pretty good spine, nice support. You should be able to like bend it without like it feeling too fragile. And you want to have like your ingredients, like I have them kind of like settled around in order for quick assembly. And then you want to get a little bit of salt on the side, and I'd also recommend a little bit of fresh ground pepper as well. And so what we're going to do is very simple. You just kind of place your roll down, and I like to see just how much space I have. And what I do is I will start it like this, just because like this side of the plant is a lot thicker than the end And typically you can use that thick side as kind of like a nice structure to be able to seal it. And you'll see what I mean when we start rolling it. When you start rolling them yourselves, like it's a little trick of balance, I feel like, between making sure that it's secure and also not ripping the lettuce. So what we're gonna do is just start filling it. I'm gonna start with some cilantro and basil that we had picked out of our garden. Again, when picking produce out of your garden, please make sure to, or just picking any type of fresh produce or receiving fresh produce, remember to always clean everything off thoroughly. And I don't know, just make sure that like your surfaces are clean, because this is a very hands-on recipe, which is why we also recommended the gloves. Again, just reiterating safety. So get your herbs, whatever fresh herbs you want to place them in the middle. And then I'm just going to go down the assembly line. So I'm going to grab like a couple of these and just kind of like spread it open a little bit. And you want to place them in the middle like that. I'm going to add like one apple in between there, and you want to kind of keep the space like secure. I'm going to add like 2 cucumbers. I love cucumbers, so I'm adding that. I'm going to add like 1 carrot on each side, playing around with the sizes. Like the slices of red bell pepper are a little bit larger, so I went and opted for like a thinner piece of the carrot, which is cool because that like balances out with the nutrients and stuff that you're getting. And then you just sprinkle on a little bit of red cabbage. And this recipe that I am posting is for 8 servings. So I would definitely adjust depending on what your own needs are. These don't really save well. I would save them maybe for like a day. Again, these are great snackings. Like make some in the morning, eat them throughout the day, share them with your family and friends. But they don't really sit well because the lettuce kind of gets wilted. So I would say definitely eat them and serve immediately. So we're gonna we put a little bit of black pepper. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt, just a teeny bit of kosher salt. And then what we're gonna do is you kind of like push it all up and you flip over the leaf. And you wanna like tuck it. So I'll show from this side. You really want to tuck it under there, pushing your sides. And this is going to pour out. This like leaf is a little bit open on this side, but you ideally you'd want to be able to have a leaf that you can pull in the sides. Just kind of put them in, being careful not to puncture the lettuce. And then you just roll it, pulling in the sides, roll it, and let it sit. Fingers are getting caught in the glove. So after you're rolling it, you want to let it sit on the side that it's sealed, face down. Okay. And yeah. And I'm also just going to make another one just to show like that technique again. So other things that you can add to this, as far as like meat alternatives, because this is a completely veggie dish, I would recommend like something that doesn't have a lot of oil, of course, like lean meats. If you're gonna like fry up some or just cook up some like ground turkey or something like that, I would recommend draining it very much if you do have like a cooked meat like that. I think personally the best that goes with these are like shrimp or sausage, which you can just like cut up, add just like this, remembering just shape. You can Julienne cut a sausage. It's not that hard. Just cut it into a rectangle, cut it into sheets, and then cut it into like your own individual sticks. But again, you can add hummus for a nice like little stick. It will make it a little bit messy, and I will caution, like this is not a clean, cute dish. It is cute, but it's kind of messy, especially if your lettuce isn't really tying together. And so what you want to do, again, I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and then I'm going to top this side, and this is an even smaller leaf, so we're going to see how this goes. This might just end up in bloopers. Nope, we got it. Okay. And so just to like keep the pressure off, I'm just gonna fold one side, and I would definitely say just like gauge your like dish off of the like what you think your lettuce is capable of. Like this right here, I just kind of made it like into one side, so just set it onto the side, and there you have it. And here I just made a presentation of them. Here's 3 rolls prepared. And we're just gonna set these aside under a lightly damped paper towel. And next we're going to prepare a fruit tray, which is fun to complement with this little snack. And so our final dish is going to be a fun fruit salad. What you'll need are your blueberries, strawberries, and I prefer to get ones that are a bit larger. These are like the larger ones that came in the pack. You just need like a handful of blueberries, and this is again up to your preference. This is no strict recipe, just like whatever fruit you have. Making like a little tray or a little plate that I honestly prefer eating like a little bit of fruit after I eat lunch, and it just always offers like a little energy boost and just having like nice good natural sugars instead of just kind of craving like sugar outside of that. I know my big thing is like juice. I used to like religiously eat juice after lunch, but again, complementing it with a little bit of fruit salad, and what we're gonna do is a little twist. We're gonna make it look pretty. So something that I firmly believe in is that when your food looks good, when you feel good making it, you feel good eating it. I think that a big part of our food, like relationship with food, does come from our perspectives of food and the ways in which we view them, the ways in which they incite joy into us. And so I'm going to be doing a very simple layout. I am using the extra matchstick apples that I had from our last recipe, and I'm just going to kind of make like a little triangle action in here. And this is really fun because you can shape it any type of way that you want. And I'm just going to show like a little design that I know I like to do. I'm going to make a flower. I used to work at Busch Gardens, and we used to make these very beautiful strawberry shortcakes, and they always look like flowers to me. So I was like, oh, I could do that here. And so what we're going to do is just put all of the little blue, oh, it's messing up. And again, this doesn't have to be like this. Other designs that I've seen is just, you can just put all of your blueberries, all of your apples, all of your strawberries, and then I also have some pecans that I want to add as well. So that is something you can also do. And so we're just gonna add like little blueberries in the center. This will be like the center of the flower. Just a little fun, you know? And then I'm gonna set that aside, all of the other little blueberries. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna prepare the strawberries. So very simply, you just kind of cut the top off. Set them aside. And then starting from the side, you're just gonna like cut very thin layers. We're doing a lot of thin slicing today, so I guess that That's one of our lessons. We're learning matchstick cutting, and we're also practicing just a lot of thin cutting. And the benefits of having like one strawberry that's cut into a bunch of little pieces versus just eating the one strawberry. And that really helps with like your satiety levels, or the like how you feel full, is by like not only having a bunch of different flavors and a bunch of different colors, but by actually breaking down your one strawberry into a bunch of little baby pieces and taking that time to intentionally eat through them. Very important notes. So we're going to take our strawberry, remember, red, with vitamin C, and we're going to kind of separate them to put, I'm going to do the larger ones on the outside and kind of just start with putting the small ones around the edge. And again, have fun with this. Like, you can make animals, you can make, I saw a thing where people like lined up, they did like slices of banana and slices of strawberry, and they made little eyes and made it look like a little lizard. It was cute. And I think that the more that you just like engage with your food on this level of like, how does this look, and top of like, how does this taste and how does this make me feel, I feel like it offers an opportunity for I don't know, for you to be able to see your food as beautiful and know that like you're creating something beautiful. Especially now, like I made some bread yesterday, some focaccia bread that I just saw off online, and it was so beautiful. I was like, wow, I can't believe I created that. And like knowing that you can create beautiful food that tastes amazing and also makes you feel good. So just what I'm doing is just kind of going around and tucking this around. It kind of looks like a star more than a flower, but the idea is that we're just shaping our food. It's kind of like food architecture. So I'm just gonna tuck a couple other ones. And this honestly probably would have been easier if I did it from the bottom up. I'm gonna cut that into one more piece. And it also provides you with layers to work with. Like you can go from the outside in, you can go from the inside out. Again, just like peeling through, trying different flavors. I think this recipe goes really well with like a cheese. Like I know local food hub's bag had cheddar cheese this week. I would put some cheddar cheese in this, and like other things you can add, I always like a nice cracker or like a pretzel, something crunchy. Kind of like the apples kind of provide that, but again, thinking about textures, thinking about colors, what ways can you like enhance this? And then for the last bit, I'm just gonna put some pecans around the edge. And this offers again, talking about diverse tastes, kind of putting and positioning your fruits on the page or on the plate allows you to be able, it feels like drawing, it was why I said page, but it allows you to be able to engage with different tastes. Like, so say, you know, in the center you're more inclined to have like a blueberry apple taste, like you're having the strawberries being more closely with like kind of as like a intermissionary, knowing how much fruit you're putting into it. Like if you put just a little bit of blueberries, knowing that like tailoring the way in which you're experiencing the food to highlight how much food is available. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is like I always believe a perfect combination is one of each of everything on the plate. So like if I was to get an apple and a blueberry and a strawberry and some pecans, boom. But also just experimenting. What does just an apple and a blueberry taste like? What does just a strawberry and pecans taste like? Like have fun with it and break down this idea of like eating fruit is just, you know, opening up an orange and peeling it. But have fun, create beautiful things. And so I don't want to like break it, but there you go. You have a fun little plate. And so yeah, I think that wraps up about our fruit tree, and let's just get everything together and see how it looks. And there you go. We have two wonderful dishes. I know that both dishes are able to be flexible to what you have in your house. I didn't show it, but just making sure that while you're preparing your food, make sure that you're washing your hands thoroughly. I again need to reiterate the importance of safety in public, both in the public and within the private of our homes. Again, I'm using gloves here in the community kitchen because we are a community space, but knowing that like if you're cooking in your home, washing your hands thoroughly, washing your vegetables thoroughly, disinfecting your space, and making sure that all of your surfaces are clean. Meals like this, they do require time, and I think that really taking the time to cut your vegetables and to engage with the space, to look at the colors, to choose vegetables that are bright and that resemble like they resemble their nutrients through their beauty, I guess. But really, honestly, engaging with your food deeply and knowing that there are so many alternatives that you can do. Again, this recipe was inspired by the food distributions from local food hubs, and also we're working in partners with the Move2Health Equity Initiative, where you'll see this post on our blog. And again, thank you all for tuning in. Please email me, and also you can get in contact with those in Sentara if you have any questions, concerns, you want to see something, maybe I didn't make something clear. We're still very much in these first weeks of trying to get this established, so bear with us as we make all of the great mishaps, but also understanding that like we're all in this together.